2025. And I'd appreciate that you turn off your cell phones as this meeting is being recorded. I'm going to turn off mine in a minute. Ellen, can you please do the roll call?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Nice to have you here. Ms. Callan Carson?
Here.
Mr. Carey?
Present.
Mrs. DeRoberts?
Present.
Ms. Hernandez-Williams?
Here.
Mr. Riley?
Here.
Ms. Walters?
Present.
Mr. Weiner?
Here.
Vice Chair, Mr. Lacavoli? Chairperson, Mrs. Granato?
Present.
Weathersfield High School Student Representative, Ms. Angelica Data?
Here.
And let me get this right here. The Weathersfield Public Schools Board of Elementary Kid Chairperson for Emerson Williams School, Colin Craig.
Here.
All present.
And Colin Craig is now going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. And I guess we'll continue right on with student and staff recognition.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Granato. Good evening, everyone. We have several events tonight to share with you for staff student recognition. We'd certainly like to start off with our performers from Webb Elementary School, who I believe are going to be presenting something tonight. Come on up. Oh, wait.
We need you on the team. We need you on the team. If the world is gonna end tomorrow, wallowing in sorrow isn't where I wanna be. 'Cause there isn't a
We got a blues here drama. So sorry.
That was really good, though.
Yeah, Mr. Max, Mr. SpongeBob is off to an awesome start. Actually, well, I would love to invite you guys to watch them from the top.
I would love
Very
to.
dynamic.
Okay.
We could call that a free form. Yeah.
Love it.
Please. Sure.
The world is gonna end tomorrow, wallowing in sorrow isn't where I wanna be. 'Cause there isn't a catastrophe hello, that could ever measure up to me. Say, just try it and see. Come on. Try what? Hero is my middle name. Fixing trouble is my game. It's a good game. Just give it the old know-how. There's no better time than now. Don't give up and don't give in. Yeah! If you're thinking sink or swim, the right answer is swim. Courage is your claim to fame. When hero is your middle name.
That's Matt's voice. Mine's Jennifer, and no one believes my science is real.
Your machines, they made a real prediction. It's not science fiction, but no one wants to listen at all. Whenever I go, they won't see you all. But your friends need you to heed the call. Sandy, we need you. Patrick can help climb the volcano, but you have to handle this stopping it from erupting part. So we have no clue how. Time is running out really, really fast. But no pressure.
Pressure, yes, I have an idea. Figure 1. A diagram of a volcanic eruption caused by the rapid pressure buildup in the magma chamber. Figure 2. If the pressure is released, no eruption will occur. Figure 3. Alex is on and expected to pass with his hammer inside the volcano where he unleashed a huge bubble. Figure 4. The bubbles will release the pressure and prevent collapse.
You lost me at 1.
The point is, this could work.
So you help us?
Boys, I'm still gonna push on from this town of yours. But you're my friends. So first, I say we give this idea a shot.
3 heroes to the rescue! So come on, hero is our middle name. Fixing trouble is our game.
I'm hoping I won't back down.
And we're gonna save this town.
I am standing here, you roar! Won't be playing sing no more. Courage is my claim to fame. And hero is my middle name.
And hero is our middle name. Hero is our middle name. Hero is our middle name.
You guys agree?
So talented, so young. That was wonderful. Thank you very much.
Can I just give a little
Sure can.
show info, just, for ticket sales sake? So our show is this coming weekend. It's Friday at 7 o'clock and Saturday at 4. You can get tickets online, and I'm happy to give that information to you. Or you can just buy them at the door. And we have a cast of 24 kids, and we have 10 teachers led by Mr. Craig, who is our lead pirate. He's always a good sport. He always plays a cameo, and he plays it well. So we're really excited. We hope you can come see the show and support these kids. They're fantastic. So thank you.
Okay, and we have do you want to continue, or can I have my gentleman here next to me?
Let's, if we could, please, we also have the Keane Foundation here
Yes.
this evening, and the Keane Foundation is really one of the entities that's behind the musicals that are happening in our elementary school. So, Carolyn Pizzina.
All set. Hello, everybody. My name is Carolyn Fazina. I am the director of the Keane, used to be after-school programs, but actually enrichment programs we say now, because we have some in school and out of school. This is our 9th, we're finishing up our 9th year with after-school programming in the Wethersfield Elementary Schools. Wow. This year, as a total, we've had 1,983 enrollments. Basically, an enrollment equals an opportunity taken by a student to learn something new, spend time with friends, make new friends, be challenged. So we're pretty proud about that. We've also given out 101 scholarships, totaling almost $6,000, which has provided opportunities for students to participate in after-school programming. And then there's just a listing of our programs, some of the programs that we've had recently. I also want to take a second just to speak about besides our instructors that we come from the outside, we actually have 8 Wethersfield teachers and staff members that teach after school. We have 3 Wethersfield graduates that are instructors in our after-school programs, and we also have 3 current Wethersfield students who we employed and were instructors for us in our after-school programs. We're very excited about the youth that comes back for sure. They're great mentors for our young students. I wanted to talk quickly about our Play and Create Club. This is something new we started this year. It basically came from the Anxious Generation book that we read as a town in our book club, and trying to figure out, now that we know the things that we've learned from the book, what can we do to try and get kids to start doing more screen-free activities. We had the program at all 5 schools. It ran for 8 weeks. We had 69 children this time participate. I am pretty sure we'll have many more next time as the word gets out about what the program is and what they do. The format was basically they filled out a worksheet initially, and that worksheet was intended to get them, asking them questions. What is your favorite screen-free thing to do? What did you do last week that was screen-free? Was it alone or with friends? And is there anything that you'd like to do in our club that is screen-free? We collected that data. We did it partly for data collection to kind of see what kids are thinking, and also to keep kids weekly thinking about screen-free activities. So sort of continuing that keeping it in their minds. We collected the data, and we did find it was not always completed. The kids they fill it out themselves, so the questions weren't always answered. Some answers were quite repetitive, which is a little telling, I think, because I don't want to read more into it, but like it was the same screen-free ideas every time. Like they maybe don't do many it might be a takeaway from that information. And some answers didn't quite make sense. What screen-free thing did you do last week? And we got video games and Roblox. So next year we're going to have them fill it out as a group led by the instructors. So hopefully we can get some more answers and provide that information to parents and families so that maybe it would give them ideas of what the kids can do. We also, like I said, one of those questions was, what would you like to do here? So kids did come up with some new ideas. They asked for slime, which we gave them at one school. And the Highcrest kids they wanted to make cardboard robots. And you can see in a couple of the pictures, that was their idea. So they collected cardboard. I provided the tape and all different things to use, and they created cardboard robots. So it did kind of start that thinking for the kids. And just these pictures are of various things. The program was games. We provided games. We had arts and crafts. The kids got to do things together. Communication was a big thing. When they're playing games, they played just normal cards. Uno is a hit. That's really pretty much the most fun thing that these kids like to do, or at least that's what they said. So it was very successful. I'm excited for next year. Like I said, hopefully we have a larger turnout. But we're definitely going to keep doing it year after year. Next, of course, are musicals. So we've had 4 of our musicals happen already, and as Cindy said, the 5th one is this weekend at Webb. Just a little bit of participation information. We had last year, when we started with all 5 schools, we had 98 kids participating, and this year we had 108 participating students. I expect that to keep growing. I know after the performance at Emerson, the in-school performance, they asked, who wants to do this next year? And pretty much half the audience raised their hands. They kind of warned me. I'm like, okay, that's exciting. But yes, it's really getting these kids, they get to see it in school and they get to get excited about it. And just a kind of an interesting fact, since we started doing our 5 schools. In 2024, the middle school, and I know you've already kind of talked about this, but the middle school participation in 2024 was 33 cast members and 16 crew members. This year, there was 64 cast members and 30 crew members, so doubling really. And that I'm pretty proud of that. I think we've offered an opportunity for a lot of kids to try something that it's hard to try the first time in middle school, potentially, with a lot of other. That age is hard to start something new in front of your friends when you don't really, so giving them the opportunity at the elementary school level, I think is really important. And they, obviously, a lot of them have stuck with it. And even kids who were in the musical in elementary school, but may not really want to be on the stage, could switch to the crew, where there was a lot of opportunities to still be part of it, just not as an actor. So hopefully we'll see that number keep growing. And SpongeBob this weekend, please. I will say that also, I just want to mention that many of our students also have either they've already been doing or they started doing theater programs outside of our program. We have students that participate in Hartford Stage, the Newington Children's Theater, the Weathersfield Teen Theater, and then, as you know, several, the Broadway at the Barn last summer, many of our kids performed with Cindy there as well. So they are really taking to it, and we're excited about that. The other program that we are running and that we are doing is our Keen Hands-On Learning program. This is our 4th year visiting every elementary school classroom. Andrea Aglico has continued to be our instructor. She has become a very familiar face, as you can imagine, with the students. They have seen her now for 4 years as they've gone, and in every grade she visits again. In 6th grade, just some of these, we talk about where calories are from. They learn the different caloric values of fat, protein, and such. They make butter from whipping cream and then talk about which is visual. They see it separate, and then they can talk about milk has proteins, fats, and learn all about that. The 5th grade is the engineering design process, which is really fun. They do a lot of trial and error, and it's very simple activities, hands-on activities, but there's a lot of learning that takes place. Through trial and error, they turn regular piece of paper into many unexpected things. Like they need to create something that can support a structure, or they're tasked to just climb through a piece of paper. We had a lot of fun in that class because Andrea likes to give not too many instructions, just tell them what to do and and let them start to think about how would I do that, and then eventually jump in and start if they don't, help them along. But it really gets them thinking on their own, working on problem-solving skills. A lot of times in our programs, once they complete that activity, the kids on their own start thinking about ways to expand on it. For example, they find more and more items around the classroom to see how much weight they can put on these structures. The boy in the bottom right there bottom right has found trash cans and all kinds of stuff. And underneath, it's hard to see, but his paper structure holding it up. Kids like to balance shoes, Chromebooks, all kinds of fun stuff. So, and it becomes a contest. Andrea is good about saying, well, at the other school, they got this done. And then, so it challenges the kids to try and beat that record. They also, when the stepping through a piece of paper, then they decided the kids wanted to connect all their pieces of paper and see how far around the room that they could go with that piece of paper. These students are not just taught the lesson, but through these programs are just part of participating in the learning process physically. They are activities, they touch, they see, they hear, they smell, they taste. So in 2nd grade, we talk about forces, potential energy. The kids in a couple, you'll see the kids sitting across from each other, they're using catapults to talk about potential energy. And then also, it's a little hard to tell, but the bottom left, the kids, we talk about magnets and pushing and pulling with magnets, and they got together on their own and they like to connect them all together and see how they work together. I skipped 3rd grade. We talk about soil and worms, It's probably our most popular. They are given, Andrea talks to them about the different types of soil and the importance of all the types. They create their own soil recipe. They mix it up, and then they plant grass, and then it's left there in the classroom, and they can see whose grass is growing better based on the combination of in their recipe. And then, of course, the worms, they touch, hold the worms, look at them through magnifying glasses. We talk about the importance of worms and good soil, that sort of thing. And then in first grade, it's states of matter. So, some of these topics are a little tough with first graders. You say states of matter, and then you have to consider your audience a little bit. So, and Andrea's been great about that. So, in first grade, they make a gummy candy by combining sugar and thicket and water. So, talking about and then it makes a semi-solid gummy candy. They add more water, and then they actually make edible finger paint, which is really fun. Towards the end, they get to play with bins of non-Newtonian fluid, which is oobleck for some of us who know it in another way, which is sometimes behaves as a solid, sometimes as a liquid. So it's a real visual learning opportunity for them. I also want to, as a side note, Andrea teaches sign language as she's doing her lessons. So in that particular one, they learned 10 different sign language words in the first grade, which they remember and will come up to her as she visits the school to show her that they've remembered it. And just a couple things I want to point out in these pictures. The one in the middle with Andrea and the young boy, that boy heard that Andrea was coming to school that day. He remembered her from probably kindergarten, and he said he had to wear his lab coat to school because he was going to have the science lady was coming. So that's pretty fun where, when the kids start to remember the fun time they had with you, it's amazing. And then the picture in the top is, that's Tommy and Brian. Tommy is Andrea's son, and Brian is a graduate from Wethersfield High School as well. And they often come with her to help her out in the classroom. There's some of the classrooms are quite large, so it's helpful to have some extra hands. You'll see that they're holding a note, and this is sort of one of those unexpected things that happens in our programs. I just wanted to share. At the end of the afternoon, or the time that she was there with them, a young girl came up to them and gave them a note, and it said, "Thank you for making us feel smart. And you guys are very funny, and I hope to see you again. You guys are awesome." I mean, that's the reward right there. And not that we're just teaching, but, we're doing it in a way where we're encouraging the kids to explore and learn, and it's safe to make mistakes and all that sort of stuff. So, so we're excited. We'll start our 5th year next year. And we also are really appreciative of the teachers we coordinate times to come in as well. So, and I'll talk a little bit more about our partnerships and that sort of thing, but it does take some coordination, and the teachers are great about helping us figure that out. I do want to talk a little bit about the Kman Foundation commitment to the kids in Wethersfield. So since 2004, and that's really when we started, I think it was probably post the building of the community center, and then we have offered, or we have provided grants to the community and an after-school program at the community center. That's how it started. And then we've expanded to the after-school enrichment program for 9 years, the Keen hands-on learning for 4, and this year and next year we will be fully funding the SDMS Encore after-school program, as well as the class summer learning program. And that's for the next 2 years. Those programs are because we have, those programs we are happy to support because they do align with the same, our principles of providing enrichment to the kids of Wethersfield. And because of our recent grant award, we are able to do this. We also, because of that award, we'll be spending this year about $285,000 between all of those programs, and probably end the same again next year. So the grant was large, and we are happy that we are able to continue and grow and provide that opportunity for these programs to continue. And then also enrollments. So since our inception of the after-school program, we have had 13,820 enrollments. And again, those enrollments are opportunities taken by a student for enrichment learning, for a chance to do something after school, to make new friends, to connect with people, to learn a new skill. So those numbers are something we've never, this is actually the first time I've ever kind of looked at them. I'm very proud of them, but we are also, we're very committed to continuing funding as much as we can and participating and committed to continuing these programs going forward. I wanted to take today to kind of go through and say a thank you to a bunch of different people and organizations, because this success is only possible because we have great partnerships. It's great. I'm very lucky. I get a lot of kudos for the job that I do, but in reality, I'm one person of many, and I could never do it on my own. So first, I would like to say my 5 after-school site coordinators. These people work after school for me on the days we have after-school programming. They are my eyes and ears of the after-school time. They work on developing, not developing relationships with the students and families when they come to pick up. So they are an important piece. Like I said, I couldn't do it. I can't be everywhere. And so they manage those after-school times for me. Parks and Recreation, they manage the registrations and the scholarships. Natalie Morrison in particular, she is my counterpart or my partner in this and my connection to Parks and Rec, and always is really available for any kind of support that I may need. I would like to thank the Wethersfield School District, and I want to start with Michael Emmett, Superintendent of Schools, and I'm going to try and do this without. Thank you very much for your commitment. Sorry. I can remember when we first met about this, and it wasn't a hard sell, but trying to explain everything. And from day one, I appreciate your commitment to us and to all the little things that we needed from you. Were always a yes, and like I said, I couldn't do it without you. So thank you very much. Sorry. And Sally DeStoli, I can't believe you're both leaving at the same time. It's really hard. But Sally, thank you very much. Sally has been like one of our #1 supporters. When I wrote last summer that very large grant with really almost no grant writing experience, Sally was my go-to all summer long. Where do I find this information? How do I do this? And always available for me. And I'm so appreciative. I've learned so much from you, and thank you very much. We've also been partners sort of in the creation of the Encore program at the middle school, and that's been very, really rewarding as well. So those partnerships are just, I appreciate you both so much. Sorry. The school principals, one here right now, just for the helping me determine which rooms in the school we can use, helping me get information out to families. I don't have everybody's information, so the principals are always very willing when I have something to send it out for me. So I really appreciate that. And also support during the after school time when we need it. We have a really great after school time, but occasionally we need a little backup, and the principals are always there for us in that situation. School staff, the teachers, work with us to coordinate our in-school visits and support our program. The school social workers, they are key in identifying and helping coordinate the registration of students who could benefit from our after-school program. Many of the scholarships that probably 90% of them those students were recommended from the school social workers. And it's not always just giving me the name, but a lot of times they have to help after the scholarship is approved. There's a lot of hands-on or interaction with families to help them register, because many families haven't ever participated in anything Parks Rec. So it's not just a one-time thing. It's a bit of time on their part, and they have been great through all of that. The school support staff, secretaries, we send out our registration information to the school, and then they disseminate it to the teachers to let the teachers know which kids are staying after school. And so that's a big help for us. It's something that has to happen, and they've always been great with that. And they also are really helpful for me to let me know if there's something going on in the school that I should know about. I have to move a room. They are always really helpful with that as well. So yeah, I mean, it takes a village, they say, and it really does. And I'm very thankful for everybody. So the last thing I wanted to do was, some of you may have seen it, but we recently had a video produced about our after-school program, and I'd like to show that to you now. Hopefully I can get this to do its thing. I don't know how to use a Mac, so I'm a little... I don't know. Hold on. Nope. Here, help. Can we turn the lights down too? I think it might be helpful. Oh, thank you. I'm done now. Okay. You want to?
We have the lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I have it. Thank you.
Kman Foundation, where everyone plays and brings.
Our goal is to reach out to each child and family in the community to allow them to fulfill their potential.
Playing, creating, and learning. These are the ingredients for happy, healthy kids. In Wethersfield, Connecticut, more than 1,000 children enjoy Keen Kids After-School Enrichment Program at all 5 elementary schools.
It's an awesome opportunity for everyone.
I think they're great. Those experiences are like learningful. Maybe like you're having a bad day in school, then you can have some fun after.
There's so many nice people that it's fun to interact with. We make new friends, do fun things.
The Richard M. Keen Foundation is the organization behind Keen Kids After-School Enrichment Program, Keen Hands-On Learning, and the 9/11 Memorial Sports Center.
Dick would have been absolutely thrilled. He loved coaching, he loved teaching kids, and probably very proud of me that I did this.
The success of Keen Kids After School depends on partnerships between Wethersfield Public Schools, Parks and Recreation, and the Keen Foundation.
It's impossible to have a good after-school program and not partner with the school district or other entities.
Keen Kids After School also partners with many high-quality instructors, including Connecticut Science Center, Play Well, Abracadoodle, Skyhawk Sports, and Hartford Stage.
Keen After School is one of the best programs I've ever seen come into a school system. It is so enriching. It is so powerful to a kid's learning.
These classes give kids an opportunity to shine in ways that they may not shine academically.
Really does broaden their horizons. It encourages the love of learning in a lot of different diverse ways.
What it gives is kids confidence. It gives them poise and knowing that they can do it.
Musical productions at each of the 5 schools are extremely popular.
I'm in a SpongeBob play, and I play as Mr. Krabs. I don't really sing in front of people a lot because I'm not very confident about it. But when I got this part, I felt a lot more confident.
I am a big fan of the Keen Foundation. To have my kids involved in an activity that they come home so excited to be involved in just makes it so rewarding as a parent.
My favorite part, actually, the opportunity to be able to get together with not only some of your friends, but also to make new friends and have fun with them too.
It truly has been life-changing. He's grown in confidence and in amazing ways.
Expressing creativity is part of the LEGO STEM Exploration Program.
A teacher shows us stuff that we can build if we want to. We can also just build whatever we want. Maybe there's some new pieces for you or some new techniques of how to build.
I'm learning that I can take apart pieces from a set that you're supposed to make and you can use it for other things to build. That's cool.
I think it's great to have something where the kids can do something different, more creative, or catered to what they like, because Keene has so many different options.
The after-school gym programs are a great opportunity for students to increase their fitness level through fun and exciting physical activities. Play and Create is a fun, hands-on break from screens, with arts and crafts, board games, and interactive group challenges.
We make little bracelets and necklaces. And we also paint.
As a parent, you want a successful child and you want them to be a well-rounded child. And through Keene, we've been able to get exactly that.
Several Keene Kids after-school programs keep learning fun while teaching science and engineering concepts.
We had these little robots and markers. There was little cameras in the front and it detects the marker and it just follows it. And sometimes if you put the right sticker down, it does a little dance.
It's given them a good way to try out new things in kind of a low risk environment. They're at school, it's already a familiar place. They get to do these activities with some of their friends.
We did these gears and then spin it around. It makes these cool shapes. And the last thing that we did, shadow puppets, but with objects. And it's actually really cool.
For me, it started with a form of childcare, right? It's going to help me stay at work longer. But it opened up this whole world for my child that I never would have been able to discover otherwise. I love it.
Keene Kids After School Enrichment Program is a great place for all Wethersfield students to learn, grow, and have fun.
These kids are amazing, and I see it every day that I come and see them. It means everything to me.
The most rewarding thing is when the kids are just really loving it. When you see that aha moment in them, you feel alive.
We're really forever indebted to the Keene Foundation for the impact that they have made that will have a lasting impact on our community.
It takes a village to do what we do. I hope that the program will be self-sustaining and that it can continue for years to come.
Thank you for letting us have fun after school. I love it. It's an off-scheduled play date.
And you did a great job because I really like this program. And I think others would too.
Thank you because I finally have something to do after school.
And the after-school program is one of the funnest parts of school.
You should go there.
Oh, they're beautiful.
They're the best. We love Keene After School!
So thank you, everybody, for
Carolyn, that was really well done.
Thank
that
you.
Video.
Yeah,
thank
we're
you.
very
Thank you for
pleased.
everything
Yeah.
tonight.
Thank you.
Any other board members with comments? So I don't know what we do without Keene.
Yeah.
Really.
Hopefully you never need to find out.
Yes, I hope not.
So,
Thank you very,
yeah,
very much.
you're welcome
And
very
Judy
much.
Keene, I know, is away. Otherwise,
she's
I'm
away,
sure
otherwise she'd
our
be here for
very
sure.
Godmother
Yeah.
would be sitting
Yes,
there
she
telling
would.
us
For
about
sure.
this. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Okay.
Thank you.
All set. Thank you. One more? Hang in there. One more.
All right, our next item for staff student recognition, we have here this evening a couple of essayists. If I could have Mr. John Cassio come forward.
John, are you an essayist?
Good evening, everyone. I feel like I'm on American Idol. Dim the lights. Anyways, it's great to be here. It's good to see all of you, and we welcome the new superintendent into Wethersfield, as well as the principals at all of our new schools. But today I'm here with one of our essay winners, what Memorial Day means to them. Each year, the Memorial Day Parade comes together and asks 8th grade students through their history program to write an essay and submit it to the parade committee. This year, the parade committee congratulates Georgia Evans from the Magenta team and Garrett Scalorcio from the Indigo team. A reminder, this year's parade is Saturday, May 24th. Parade location is the Department of Motor Vehicles, 8 a.m. Be there. If it rains, the location will be at Wethersfield High School. So, with that being said, part of the program that Garrett and Georgia have committed to is to read their essays at the parade, at the cemetery. And one of your Board of Education reps was one of the recipients. So this has been going on now for approximately 25 years. So it's hard to believe that we're here today. So Garrett is 14 years old student who lived in Wethersfield his entire life. He has an older sister, Zoe, who attends Wethersfield High School, as well as a twin brother, Gavin. He has two amazing parents, Joe and Kelly, who are here with us tonight, and a mischievous cat named Jasmine. He is a very active member at the SDMS, participating in the Lion Team, in the Kindness Club, and also in the Access Club. In addition, Garrett is devoted to Scouts. He has earned the life rank and is working towards his goal of becoming an Eagle Scout. Garrett is hoping these skills will come in handy later in life as he wants to be involved in environmental studies and possibly a park ranger. He is excited to continue his educational journey at the Wethersfield High School next year. With that, Garrett, it's all yours.
To me, Memorial Day means more than just the unofficial start of summer, with the family gatherings and the barbecues. Rather, it's a holiday that honors those who have served for our country and died in service. We often forget the differences between our military recognition holidays, such as Armed Forces Day and Veterans Day. Veterans Day is meant to honor servicemen still with us, such as my dad, who has served our country in the military. It is important to honor those servicemen because they take time in their daily life to help keep this country safe too, such as when my dad was in the Navy Reserves. He had to be gone for many trips across the world in places like Iraq and Afghanistan. However, Memorial Day is different because it honors the thousands of soldiers who have died in war and gave their life to keep this country safe. This makes it unique and very special. We should always remember those people, both those who lost their lives, those wounded and disabled, and those who are currently serving. Because who knows what life would be like without them. This country would not have been protected. We could not have faced the threats from Germany, Japan, and others who threatened us all. But because of the thousands who gave their life for this country, gave up their future, our nation is able to stand today as a nation under God with liberty and justice for all. I believe that while we are enjoying our family gatherings and barbecues, we should also be reverent to think about those who have died for our country in order to keep this nation still standing.
As you can see, it's amazing what these 8th grade students have done. With the recipients this year were heartfelt. We had many students write, but apparently this year, 2 of the recipients, Garrett and Georgia, wrote from the heart. Georgia interviewed her grandfather, and he would never talk about his service, but he did share a story with Georgia. So you'll be able to hear that at the parade. She had a commitment tonight with her gymnastics program. But with that being said, we are so excited and happy to have the 8th grade students and their team be a part of this. It wouldn't be possible without the 8th grade team bringing their students and asking them. This is a voluntary essay program. It's not mandatory. And the students came forward to do it. So we're very excited. This year's theme is Military 250. Honoring Army, Navy, and Marine Corps. I'd like to put a shout out to Kathy Williams at the Board of Education office for her help in organizing the essays and gathering from the schools. And also, we had the web school this year be a part of our art program. So check out the town hall. You'll see their arts projects in the town hall. And so what we try to do as a Memorial Day Parade Committee, integrate the schools with the veterans in the parade. So it's been a real good avenue to get people to know what we're doing. So I think it's a great thing. Garrett, I can't thank you enough. A great job. And thank you, Board of Ed. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, I have the pleasure of introducing Colin Craig, who's been patiently sitting next to me here. He's a 6th grader at Emerson Williams School, and he's our Kid Board of Ed chair. So, Colin, your voice matters, and we are so excited to hear your ideas. And together, let's make our schools even better, and let's inspire your classmates to work with us. So, Colin, the floor is yours.
Hi, my name is Colin Craig, and I am the Board of Education Chair of Emerson Williams Elementary. School is great, but I think that our lunch program needs improvement. Food is what fuels the brain. We have budgets, and I understand the issue with spending more money on food, but with such a capable public school system, I think that we can brainstorm possible solutions and ways to make enough money. I want to help Wethersfield Public Schools to have better food, good food, and healthy food. According to Boston Children's Hospital, 19.7% of kids in America ages 2 through 19 are obese. That's almost 15 million kids who are obese in America. That's more than the whole population of Pennsylvania. I think options like unhealthy snacks are not ideal. If kids want candy, ice cream, and cookies, they should get some at home. Some unhealthy snacks should still be optional, but having one ice cream, one snack, and a candy added to the additional chocolate milk is not very healthy. For a happy, healthy life, we'll need more nutrients and freshness. If our food was healthier, more of us would re-enter the class feeling focused and ready to learn. Additionally, we would feel healthier. I think we should also be able to choose what to eat. If a kid doesn't want a biscuit and they get a biscuit without having an option, the biscuit is going straight in the garbage. This is to save food that could be used to fuel other children. The food that I see wasted the most is the vegetables. Kids, including me, don't eat the vegetables because they look unappealing. It's not that we don't like vegetables, it's just that we think the vegetables need a little bit of improvement. I want to serve a new recipe of vegetables that we believe to be more appealing. I want to try serving new vegetables until I see people eating them. Be honest, we really approach these veggies. I think serving appealing healthy foods will make an astronomical difference in our health, mental, and physical well-being. We should use Kaiser Farms because we spent millions on it and Wethersfield still owns it. Town volunteers could maintain it and fresh foods would be shipped to each school. We could also compost wasted food to create a cycle. I think that we can go down to Kaiser Farms and clean the place up a bit, or weed and plant until Kaiser Farms is as good as new. I want to add a greenhouse so that we can grow and maintain healthy, nutritious foods all year round. I recently noticed, though, that Kaiser Farms might transform into a new school. I think that we can relocate to another area if necessary. I also think another solution might be to add rooftop gardens to the newly constructed schools in the future. Thank you for letting me share my ideas with you. I believe that we can supply Wethersfield Public Schools with the energy that everyone needs to focus, learn, and grow.
Thank you. We have the TSKP architect out in the audience tonight, and he's got his pencil. Love the rooftop gardens. That was a wonderful idea. Thank you very much. You're awesome. All right, we have to move on here. So next on tonight's agenda is the approval of the minutes of our April 22nd, 2025 regular meeting. Can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Okay, a second?
Second.
Any discussion on them? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions? Those minutes are approved. Now, is there anyone wishing to make a public comment? Come on up to the podium, state your name and address. May I remind you that public comments are limited to 5 minutes. And also, another reminder, board members do not make comments immediately following a resident speaking at the podium. So thank you.
I will try my hardest to keep this within time limit, and also I apologize. I don't do prepared comments, so I might start a little bit. Good evening. My name is David Kuthman. I reside at 70 Bainberry Lane with my wife Jessica and 2 children, Matthew and Ryan. Both children currently attend Samuel B. Webb Elementary School in the 6th and 5th grades, respectively. I have nothing but absolute love and respect for Webb, and with all that the school has done for my 2 sons. It is an incredible school run by an amazing principal, Mr. Craig, and staff with highly devoted and committed faculty. I appeared before this esteemed board on January 28th with Mr. Craig to request permission for Webb to accept a facility dog from Blue Path Service Dogs, tracing the same footsteps as Berlin Public Schools Griswold Elementary School. At that time, we asked permission to donate the dog to Webb and guaranteed that the community would support all costs so as not to burden the Wethersfield taxpayer. Typically, a process like this takes several years from ideation to receipt of the facility dog, but we found ourselves on a very expedited timeline given the incredibly fast approval of our application by Blue Path. At the time, I was unable to provide specifics, which I am now happy to announce have been finalized. During the Webb PTO meeting on March 12th, graced by the presence of our beloved chairperson and liaison, we approved the finalized plan. I apologize if this has already been relayed to you, but I feel necessary to circle back with this board to ensure complete awareness. The PTO, after a very lengthy discussion about specifics, unanimously approved the following resolution. 1, the full cost of Blue Path facility dog of $10,000 has been approved. We raised the funds. It's there. 2, the full first day costs like leashes, beds, dog food bowls, etc. of $500 has been allocated for Mr. Craig to spend as he sees fit. 3, the establishment of a $2,000 emergency fund to be used by Mr. Craig or the new WPS superintendent for urgent needs. And 4, annual go-forward amount of $1,500 to provide for maintenance costs like food, veterinarian services, and grooming. Mr. Craig has already secured a local veterinarian, AA, willing to donate routine medical care. In doing so, Mr. Craig will be able to shift the money allocated in the annual amount of funding to purchase emergency health insurance, further insulating the community from unexpected costs arising out of the ownership of said dog. Holding true to our promise, Webb PTO and town residents will support this dog and his or her invaluable efforts with our school children. I stand here today not only to relay you these great details, but also to show my deep appreciation for all those individuals who made this possible. First, I'd like to thank this board for their permission. I understand this concept was novel, but you can see from our neighboring towns, including Berlin and Glastonbury, school districts are aggressively adding facility dogs to schools, not just for emotional support, but also because of the significant academic benefits, such as reduced absenteeism. Second, a heartfelt thank you to our current superintendent, Mr. Emmett, who championed this effort and used his many years of experience in finding solutions like the rider to our insurance policy in such an expedited manner. This endeavor would not be possible without his guidance and support. And while I hope he finds retirement enjoyable, we as a community will miss him and his steady hand leading us through the many challenges we face. Third, to the entire Webb PTO for embracing such a radical plan and supporting this effort. The support amongst the members of the PTO was overwhelming and honestly heartwarming to see parents who really want change for their children's school. And finally, I am so proud to be able to do this in front of his son. And finally, our cherished principal, Mr. Craig, who committed whose commitment to his students and staff is so obvious that the parents, me included, feel empowered to approach him with radical ideas. I mention this specifically as I know from my own children and their friends how involved Mr. Craig is and how he encourages civic engagement with his students. Jess and I scheduled time with Mr. Craig to present him with the idea in the same exact manner that he meets with his students. And he received us and our idea in such a welcoming and respectful manner. Granted, our idea was one that he was not expecting nor even prepared to respond to, but in his usual manner, he went about conducting his own due diligence, eventually understanding that this isn't just a great idea, but one that helps keep us on par with our neighboring districts. He recognized the benefits and worked extremely closely with the PTO to ensure this came to fruition. It is not lost on me how much additional work this has and will cause for Mr. Craig, who already contributes much more than we could ever ask. But he understands the importance and benefits, not only to his students, but also to his staff, who will have this dog available as a resource for their classroom and themselves. It was an absolute pleasure to work with someone as committed as Mr. Craig, who cares so deeply about his students and staff, and who's willing to put in the effort to effectuate great change. We are forever indebted to Mr. Craig, not just for his work on this campaign, but in all that he has done to make Webb a more inclusive and welcoming environment for all it serves. And finally, beyond extending my appreciation, I leave you with a simple plea. Webb should not be the only school in Wethersfield that has a facility dog. As my high school math teacher wife reminds me constantly, older kids need that resource just as much as younger ones. I love to work with the new superintendent to help facilitate adding more facility dogs with the hope that each school in Wethersfield has their own, and highly encourage, my opinion, that Mr. Craig be tapped to help that initiative. Webb proved this can be done. We now need to focus on expanding and capitalizing on this amazing program. I wish Webb the best of luck with their future facility dog and truly hope this marks the beginning of an amazing journey for Wethersfield Public Schools. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Megan Glennowski. I live at 24 Morrison Avenue. I'm going to start by thanking Mr. Wojcik for running the school band and the festival band. Band has been an amazing bright spot during a difficult 5th grade year. I would like to thank Mr. Karzar for sending me a summary of the professional development in neurodiversity that educators in Wethersfield Public Schools have participated in recently. It looks like the district has been focusing on restorative and trauma-informed practices, which is wonderful. As the packet says, restorative practices offer an alternative to punitive approaches, emphasizing dialogue, accountability, and responsibility to address conflict and wrongdoing. My question to the board is, what can you do to hold school administrators accountable for this focus? Mr. Karzar discusses Ross Green's collaborative and proactive solutions model, which he states focuses on understanding the underlying reasons for behavior rather than just addressing the behavior itself. Collaborative problem solving is grounded in the idea that children struggle with behaviors because they lack the skills or capacity to respond to demands in a way that is expected. It encourages schools to adapt expectations and approaches to better suit the individual's unique needs and strengths. Collaborative problem solving minimizes the use of punitive measures. Mr. Karzar's packet also acknowledges that many neurodivergent students experience trauma as a result of misunderstanding, exclusion, and systemic ableism. For example, an autistic student who is constantly reprimanded for stimming or for non-compliant behavior may internalize a sense of shame, leading to chronic stress and emotional harm. This suggests that there should be a shift to a more inclusive approach in Wethersfield, where punishment is not the first solution and where kids can be themselves. So if this has been a focus of professional development in Wethersfield for the last 5 school years, then why is an autistic elementary school student assigned to detention for arguing with his teacher, sent to the office for talking too much, sent to the office for being too loud in the lunchroom, left alone in the office to complete his work, and then scolded about breaking a school pencil as a coping mechanism when he became frustrated? Why is he called to the office to repeatedly watch videos of himself misbehaving at lunch and recess, taken out of his reading group because he talks too much, at the direction of the principal and with no replacement learning activity for several weeks? Why is he losing recess because he argued about not wearing a coat on a 50-degree day? These responses do not seem to align with the focus that is outlined in Mr. Karzar's packet. Gifted autistic children are often disciplined for behavior that is directly tied to how their brains work differently: impulsivity, emotional outbursts, or rigid thinking patterns. But punishment does not teach skills. It only teaches shame. The problem with trying to fit a square peg into a round hole is not that you can't make it fit, but that you break the square peg in the process. When I was recently called to the school after a more severe incident to talk about next steps, the only next steps discussed were punishment. I had come prepared to discuss ways that we could work together to teach my child new skills and coping mechanisms because, as Dr. Ross Green tells us, kids do well if they can. If they're not doing well, something is getting in their way. When we treat kids as if they're choosing to misbehave instead of trying to manage a world that they don't know yet how to navigate, we make it harder for them to succeed. Punishing a child for skills they haven't developed yet is not only unfair, it's ineffective. But there was no plan put in place to help and teach at that meeting. I had to push for another meeting to address any next steps beyond punishment. What can I, as a parent, or you, the board, do when an administrator sets a tone at their school that is so misaligned with the stated goals and focus of the district? We have to actually implement these inclusive practices in our schools every day, not just talk about them. Dr. Barry Prezant in Uniquely Human, which is an amazing book that I recommend to everyone, puts it this way: supporting a child with autism isn't about changing who they are, it's about changing how we understand and respond to their needs. When we change our approach, we change the outcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? All right, Mr. Emmett, you have some communication for us.
I do. Thank you. Good evening again, everyone. We are heading to that time in the calendar where we are starting to think about graduation, step-up ceremonies, field trips. I look down the dais and I see Angelica. I had the honor of signing diplomas today. So the time is coming fast and furious. So graduation is Tuesday, June 10th. We are working with the town with regard to setting up the showmobile. We have all of our vendors. Caps and gowns for board members have arrived at Stillman, so we'll be making sure that we get them out to you. Again, things will go very quickly here as we wrap up this school year. Just want to let everybody know that we anticipate tomorrow the budget allocation coming from town council. They'll be meeting here in council chambers. That must be done by charter no later than the 15th of May. Once we get the allocation for us, it'll be a time to come back together and talk about what the allocation entails, what priorities we have moving forward for next year. I'm certainly hopeful that, again, we strike the balance. We know that town council is dealing with some major challenges with regard to our referendum upcoming, as well as the reevaluation. But at the end of the day, we have an obligation to provide the best possible education for all of our students in Wethersfield. And with that, we need the necessary resources. So looking forward to getting that number tomorrow evening, and then being able to hammer out the final budget at the upcoming board meeting on the 27th of May. Please remember that the meeting scheduled for Tuesday, June 10th has been canceled because we have other business that evening, that is graduation. So again, the calendar is moving very quickly. Do want to let members of the public know that the recent TikTok challenge, yes, we did have some students here in district that decided that it would be fun to vandalize the Chromebooks and stick items into the Chromebooks. I dealt with the situation at the middle school. I dealt with the situation at the high school. One issue at the elementary level. Again, I want to remind everyone that the Chromebooks, while they may be yours, students, they really are the board's. There is an acceptable use policy, and the expectation is you will treat those devices appropriately, professionally, and making sure that they are not being vandalized. I have to admit, I was somewhat disappointed in seeing the condition of some of our Chromebooks where, pieces broken off, keys colored on. We had a couple of screens that were all gouged, and this was like a second replacement screen. So again, I'm really asking all parents and all students to treat Chromebooks with dignity and respect. They are your tools that you need to succeed. I'm hopeful with the TikTok challenge, it's hit its peak and people realize that they should not be doing that. Again, we're holding people accountable in the event that you're vandalizing these machines. And parents, I'm sorry to say, you're going to be getting a bill. If it's an intentional vandalism, we need to hold your kids accountable. That's the bottom line. So I'm hopeful that this TikTok challenge has passed. Would also like to say to parents, it is May. I am dealing with the series of discipline issues. Parents, if I can say one thing tonight, please carefully monitor what your students are doing on their phones. We're dealing with a couple of situations now where students don't realize when you post it, it's out there and you don't know necessarily where it's going. So by all means, monitor. And I heard Carolyn say it this morning or earlier today at the presentation about the anxious generation. That book club, there was a reason for that, and we're seeing the impacts of social media, we're seeing the impacts of phones. So again, parents, please be diligent with your kids and monitoring what they're doing online and what they're doing on their phones. Finally tonight, I do want to give a shout out, I see still in the audience, my successor, Mr. Jeffrey Wibby. It has been an absolute pleasure to work on the transition process with Jeff. Obviously, we've known each other professionally for many years, and I've been committed to making sure that this transition goes as seamlessly as possible. So this evening, one of the next steps for us is the appointment of the next principal at Charles Wright. So we'll be heading into executive session later in this meeting to do that. And also this evening, we have an action item before you that is of utmost importance, and that is the approval of the educational specifications for Highcrest. So we have in the audience Mr. Michael Scott from TSKP to answer any questions that you have. And with that, that's communications this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So tonight, we do have 2 action items. And Chuck, can you please read recommended motion 6A?
Yes. I move that the Board of Education approve the attached proposed schedule of the regular Board of Education meetings for the 2025-2026 school year.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Discussions?
Yes, I have some concerns. So when you look at policy 9750, it states the Weathersfield Board of Education shall set a calendar of regular meetings for the ensuing year at the first regular meeting in November. This is about as far from November as we can get. So I'm just wondering why we're setting it now and not in November?
Well, I would say because you didn't have a new superintendent.
Yeah, but it's still the bylaws of the bylaws, because then it's going to bring me to the next bylaw, which says normally the board shall schedule regular meetings on the second and fourth Tuesday of each month, except during school vacations when the board shall schedule no meetings. And there's at least 3 months that now we're eliminating the second meeting of the month. So just curious on that decision making as well.
Anything else?
I need some answers. I asked 2 questions, Madam Chair,
Well,
of a motion that was made,
yeah,
so.
I don't have answers for them, so I'll get back to you. I don't.
And I think the motion should be tabled until we have answers.
My understanding here is that the meeting schedule was set with consultation with incoming Superintendent Wibby and the board chair. Is that accurate?
No.
It's not?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
So we can table it then. Would you like to?
I make a motion.
Yep.
I withdraw my motion.
Okay.
I believe whoever seconded has to withdraw their second.
I withdraw it.
All right, any other comments here on any of this? So then that tabled.
Thank you.
All right, we do have another motion. John, can you please read recommended motion 6?
Sure. Recommend that the Weathersfield Board of Education approve the educational specifications for Highcrest Elementary School.
Second.
Okay. Any discussions? You want to come up? Sure.
Good evening, Michael Scott, TSKP Studios, 146 Willis, Hartford.
That's okay.
So tonight, the business before you is the first step in the comprehensive plan that we discussed last time I was before this board. You'll recall that that is a 6-phase plan to comprehensively address all 5 elementary school sites. And what you're approving tonight is the educational specifications for that first pivot school, which will be located on the Keisha Farm site. This will be a new facility, and so it'll be a new construction grant. And it's to house 405 students, which is larger than the typical, what will become the typical K through 4 elementary school, because this school will incorporate 90 additional preschoolers. So we're eventually, once it's done in its swing school function, this building will receive 5 classrooms of preschool. This will expand from the 3 classrooms that you have at Webb. And those classrooms, I believe, currently run on half-day sessions. So you'll have the opportunity for 10 sessions potentially in lieu of the current 6. Other than that, it's K through 4 school. Its first 6 to 8 years of its existence will house essentially the Highcrest elementary population, which will begin to shrink as soon as the Webb renovations are complete, and that becomes the 5-6 academy. So this ed spec builds on the basic idea that every K through 4 elementary school will have 3 grades per classroom. I mean, 3 classrooms per grade, and with 1 additional classroom to take on any demographic surges that the neighborhood school might encounter in the future. Okay?
Anybody have any questions?
Yes.
Marjorie? Oh, go ahead, Janice.
Looking at it, I believe there was 1 handicap unisex bathroom in the nurse's office. Is that correct? Was there more than the 1?
Yes. What you're really looking at here is the educational program spaces, which total about 38,000 square feet of space. In reality, this school is going to be about 53,000 square feet of space. That's what Downs will tell you they're cost estimating for this building. So that will include all of the toilets, mechanical rooms, janitors' closets, IT rooms, corridors, stairways, mechanical rooms, all of the stuff that really is important for the proper functioning of a building, but doesn't necessarily relate to a quote-unquote educational specification.
Okay.
The reason that unisex bathroom is called out in the ed specs is it's in addition to the normal classroom. That program needs a single-use toilet nearby.
Okay. Well, I'm just wondering if, how many we would need. But would we see more of that in the architecture plans?
You will need to provide adequate toilet facilities for the entire building. Are you asking about more toilets or more unisex toilets?
I'm
gender-neutral
thinking
toilets.
more about unisex handicap.
Gender-neutral.
Yeah.
We are seeing that as a trend, in not only a trend. I mean, frankly, it's facts on the ground for most educating authorities, but less so at the elementary school, although certainly we can work that out with the superintendent and the building committee on how we would allocate that. I'll also mention that every pre-K and kindergarten room will likely end up having its own dedicated toilet room in the classroom.
Thank you.
Marjorie?
I just have a few parts where I kind of noted. Do you have it in front of you? You okay? Just a couple of things. One is the general language of the general music room. There's a reference to just one room of 1,000 square feet, and then there's a reference later on to more than one rooms that are going to be carpeted. And I just know that there's a band component, I don't know, with the K4, I'm kind of curious. There's less music instruments, maybe. I don't know. There's a chorus component, general music component, and then there's an instrument room.
It's envisioned that in its final form, the K through 4 form, there'll only be one music educator in the building. Okay. So that individual will have a room. It's obviously edited back from the previous version when this was a K through 6 facility, in which you would normally have, you would probably not only need another music room just to support that from a teacher station standpoint, but typically the older kids have a much more robust instrument program that requires a slightly different facility. But here, the idea is it's one room, one 1,000 square foot room for the 320 kids.
Right, for whatever music that they do. with it.
General music instruction that they'll cycle through.
Okay. And then on page 27, looks like there's an error where it says 3,500 feet at the top instead of 350.
Okay. Just give me that page number again, please.
27.
We don't have a page 27, do we? Oh, the wrong way. Hold on. I don't have a page.
No?
Just hold it up so I can see it.
Oh, I don't even have it on me. I didn't print it. I just wrote notes.
Oh, okay.
But I could send this to you later. Just little errors.
Okay.
I looked at it. You know what it was? It was probably like the 27 on my computer as I'm scanning versus.
Sure. That's okay.
There's just a couple mistakes of numbers where it just didn't seem like.
Okay.
I can't remember even the topic under this. I just made notes.
Okay.
And at one point it mentions technology personnel. So there, like that goes to your point about how that's not really educational. So there's going to be space for technology personnel that might need to be in the building.
That's right.
But that'll be figured out later.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. That'll come out of that plus or minus 14,000 square feet of other space that you're not seeing.
Right.
Just to be clear, we end up tracking 3 types of square footage. We track the number of square feet that are in the ed spec, which really is there to enumerate and qualify the educational space. We track your eligible grant square footage, which the state tells us you're entitled to based on the student population. For this school, it's about 50,000 square feet. And then your constructor, like Downs in this instance, will tell you the gross square foot, which includes things like the width of the exterior wall all the way around the building. They also tend to count stairs twice, that sort of thing. And so that they'll tell you that it's 53,000 square feet. So the numbers can be confusing if you don't look at this every day, but you'll often see 3 numbers thrown out here in discussing this facility. Okay.
And is it more popular now to have gymatoriums and not cafetoriums?
Is it more popular? I can't comment on which we see more of. We see both.
Okay. I know we have cafetoriums now, but I didn't know if that's...
Yeah, I mean, interestingly enough, again, we don't have an architecture to this building yet.
Right.
But if you think about how we are laying this building out, we're trying to put things like the gym and the cafeteria on one side of the building so that the classroom wings can be closed off after hours or on the weekends. And the community can use those large spaces. So in the diagram that I showed you, the stage, I'm pretty sure, abuts both the gym and the cafeteria.
Right.
So the possibility is you could have both, right? You could just open wall on one side or on the other side for a variety of things. And we do that too.
So for that, it would add for safety and scheduling for the principals as well. I mean, it just makes sense for those kinds of spaces.
Yeah.
It just gives it flexibility.
Yeah.
I know that we're thinking of saving in square footage, but it's just a thought.
Well, I was just thinking like maybe gyms just have more space in case there's a concert or something anyway, right?
You can put more people in a gym typically.
Yeah,
more parents, more kids in the gym. That is true.
Right.
Can I ask a point of clarification?
Yes.
We are approving this because this is what's going to be submitted to the state on our behalf?
Right.
So if Marjorie has concerns about numbers, that should be brought out now, because once we approve it, this document shouldn't be edited from the version that we approved, correct?
It is possible to edit educational specifications even after you submit them as part of the grant. the architect in me wants to get them as right as possible before we submit it by June 30th. So if you have edits, you can certainly approve it with the caveat that, you're going to forward, a handful of edits and we'll.
Yeah,
hold
it's
them
not like
in.
substantive, it's just I could tell that like instead of 1 0, there's 2 zeros, like you just know it's not a substantive change.
Right. Well, I hate to be off by a factor of 10. I know that.
I was going to say that's a big difference.
Yeah, it is a big
We're talking
difference,
about
but-
zeros. And then I have a question on page 11. Under classroom storage, it says open storage for ORF instruments, ORFF. I think there's 2 Fs. What is that exactly?
That's probably a holdover. Again, this, in passing this around with town staff and professional educators, we tried to track changes between the new and the old version, so that's probably a fragment in the track changes. Page 11, ORF.
Under classroom storage?
Yeah, I see it. It's really open storage for instruments. The ORF should be struck for instruments for general music classroom. So these would be the, back in the day, it would be like recorders and xylophones, which is the type of music that I learned as an elementary school kid. But nowadays, it could be little synthesizers or keyboards that they're using as well. But it's not, what it's meant to signify is it's not a band or orchestra program at this age. We don't need a full instrument storage room, per se.
All right, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you. We'll take a vote. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions? That motion is approved. Thank you, everyone. Okay, and this evening, we have an advisory building committee update. John?
We do?
Yeah.
Wasn't that just the update?
Just for you.
Well, first, I want to thank, obviously, Superintendent Emmett and TSKP for putting together those educational specifications. That will be, obviously, as we do this for every school, as we approach this, the most important thing the board does is approve those educational specifications. So thank you so much for your input there. Just for public knowledge, the reason why we are looking at Highcrest now, and the way I put it is there's kind of 2 trains moving at once. We have our grant application process that has to be prepared by June 30th for the state. So if Highcrest being the first school in our plan, that needs to be submitted before June, even though we don't have an approved referendum by the town just yet. So the other train is the actual referendum being prepared, and the other train being the actual approvals to get to the grant process. So those
you,
2 things
John.
are
That was
moving.
good.
This board will have to do educational specifications and approvals for every school as we approach the different phases. So obviously, we will be all very much in tune to this process as we go. From the building committee update, we did meet last week in a special meeting. Our building committee subcommittee met with Downs Construction on the line item through the cost estimate. So these are the actual specifications of the cost of the different phases of the referendum. They reviewed it and then was then presented to the full building committee on March 5th right here in Town Hall. Those obviously are all prepared as we go forward with the town council, because the town council needs all that information as they start to prepare for their referendum question. We are still marching forward to June 16th as the meeting where the town council will set the referendum question, and we look forward to that. So there are a lot of meetings in between there. Obviously, I mentioned both of these trains, but we look forward to actually reaching that June 16th date. And with that, that's really the update from building committee.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions for John?
I have a question. The date of the referendum, I know it's right before the upcoming election. Is there any discussion of combining the referendum with the municipal election in November?
The building committee made their recommendation that it stands on itself on September 16th. I do stand by that decision by the building committee. This is an effort that should stand on its own and deserves its own vote. That's what we believe on. But then at the end of the day, again, the town council decides the referendum question June 16th.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anyone else? All right. right, thank you, John. Thank you very much. Okay, Board of Ed meetings held. We had our finance and operations, this was 4/22, and Matt Lacavoli, our finance chair, did report on that at our last meeting. But community and public relations, Marjorie?
At the specs. Yes, we held our meeting last month, and we were able to put out a second newsletter, and we approved that for the month of April, which was solely focused on explaining kind of what's happening with the schools, the elementary school plan, and thus far, what's happened, and maybe some of the reasons why things have happened the way decisions have been made, whether it's K through 4 and a 5-6 school, where pre-K can go, and how a lot of people have been asking, why can't pre-K be put in every single elementary school? And the answer is that we just don't have the money and the resources, and most school systems, especially, there's a lot of cities that have pre-K in every elementary school, but most school systems like ours, we don't get the funding for that. So we have to have one pre-K, centralized pre-K. And so that would be Highcrest, since it'll be the first new building built. But there's a lot of good feedback I received because people were looking for some of these answers and clarifications on some of the questions out there, and we're hoping to keep, pursuing that and adding more information out there, and hoping not just the school district that gets it, but the town overall will get this information in the next month, within the next so many days. Because a lot of people outside the school district have questions, and they're not always plugged in because they're not getting the emails from the schools. So working with the town council to also put out that information as well. And we're also looking to do, basically we've come up with a draft of a communications plan that we're hoping to adopt in the next month or so, that the whole board can adopt, that for the future years we'll look at ways we can improve on communication within the district through one of the things about the communication plan now is noting how the various ways we already do communicate. Parent Square is one of the most successful things we've done as a board, or this board has done, approving, and it's just an amazing communication tool that gets so much information to people who have, English is not their first language, and they still can get all the information they need. But there's other things we'd like to improve on. So there's looking to kind of write it all down and get kind of a goal-oriented approach to communication. And so hoping to get that completed by the next maybe board meeting or so. We'll see how it goes. We're having a communications meeting tomorrow to talk about that further. And lastly, we did do a message for Teacher Appreciation Week, and to let everyone via email, all the staff and teachers know that the Board of Education really appreciates what they do, and that we're here and we know what they're doing. We know it's a hard job, but that we really appreciate their efforts. And that's about communications.
Thank you for all your work on that. Thank you. And human resource and personnel. Christina, are you ready with minutes on that?
Always.
You are good. Okay.
That was a great segue. I did want to start by saying Happy Teacher Appreciation Week to our teachers, but not only them, but the educators that decided to become administrators in central office. And it's funny because everyone's always saying, you should become an administrator. And I'm like, I don't know if I could do that job. That's a really difficult job to run and help support the teachers and then help support the students. But anyways, I'm an HR committee, so it's kind of a perfect time to do that. The central office has been trying to fill as many positions as possible, but they are waiting for the budget to be approved. So they're trying to get those great candidates that are going to, enrich our school district, but they're also trying to be very careful to wait for the budget. So I appreciate that as a board member and as a parent in the district. Many of our staff, our second agenda item is absences and leaves of absences, and they usually don't leave our district except for to go maybe closer to their own district. So that means that they're dedicated to our district. So that's awesome. Absences and leaves of absences are fluid, so we're trying to support staff members, but also let them take this time that they need. Exit interviews will continue in June if staff members that have decided to leave the district want to participate in that. That gives us some feedback as to what needs to be improved. We've received a timeline for the surveys that were given out in April, and they concluded in May. This will fulfill the State Department of requirement for the climate policy that all schools will have to ensure that staff, students are supported in the district. And I'm looking forward to working with the new superintendent, Mr. Waby, on coming up with an agenda when we come back for the new school year. And I think that's it.
Thank you. You're excellent with all this. Thank you. We do have a meeting scheduled on May 20th at 6 o'clock, and it's Student Program and Services. All right. So moving on, is there anyone wishing to make a public comment? Come on up and state your name and address, and may I remind you that you have a 5-minute limit. Anyone? All right. So let's have some board comments. Anybody with a board comment? Janice?
Well, a couple of little things, well, a few things. I had the pleasure of attending, the Addams Family at Emerson Williams. There's so many. I did get to see that one, and the students did a wonderful job on that. And also Thursday evening at 6 p.m. at Loretta's Place in Millwoods, there will be the PEP graduation, Parents Empowering Parents. So if you're able to go to that, that's usually very nice. And then also, I went to the April 26th Charles Wright PTO meeting. And like all of our wonderful Wethersfield PTOs, the Charles Wright PTO is winding down a very successful school year of fundraising and events for faculty, students, and families. I can't say enough about the contributions that all of our PTOs make to our schools. Wonderful job with climate and just an amazing job in raising money. They've also have many exciting grade 6 activities coming up, the end of their elementary school celebrations. And excitement seems to be building for Mr. Horder's retirement party on May 30th. Charles Wright parents are asked to bring some dinner items. Village Pizza is also donating food, and Charles Wright alum are asked to bring dessert. So it will be held at Cove Park at the Solomon Wells House, and I know that they're very excited about that.
Great, thank you. That was an invite for all of us, right?
I'm not sure.
Oh.
Yes, okay.
Okay, that sounds good. All right. Anyone else for a closing comment?
I'd like to go.
Marjorie?
I did not attend this, but I heard it was amazing because I had a family engagement, but the high school students performed or created, produced, directed what they call Cabaret for a Cause. I believe it's the 3rd or 4th year they've done this. It's completely student-led, and they just did a multitude of songs from Hamilton, all kinds of musicals, and my husband went and my son went, and my husband could not stop talking about how great it was, and just the time that these students take. They're all doing different things, and also one of the things that is amazing is that some of the students were people who don't generally always do the musical theater, but they decided to throw themselves on the stage and do something, play the guitar, sing a song in front of everybody. So they're supported by the school, and it's a great way for kids to just organize something themselves and get the support of the high school staff. And then there's a blood drive this Wednesday, actually tomorrow, I guess. I don't know if it's already full. Is it already full?
I think we have like 7 more slots.
Ooh, you can talk about that. I'm going to let you talk about that. Safeguard is the organization that raises money to have one big, huge graduation party on graduation night, and there's still need of donations. So if anyone wants to, a business or just an individual wants to send money to them, you can always contact me. I can let you know what their Venmo account is or who to contact, but they're always looking for gift cards or anything that would help make that night even better for the students that just graduated. And I want to shout out to the WSPC, the Wethersfield Schools Parent Council, which Mr. Wibby is going to be introduced in a few months, and he's going to meet those parents. They're all representatives of one representative from each, or 1 to 2 representatives from each elementary school, middle school, and high school that come together once a month to hear about from the superintendent and talk about what they're doing at each other's schools. But one of the things we have done as an organization is promote bike to school days, and this past Wednesday was bike stroll, and I love the one in the spring because they also give money or gift cards to all the crossing guards as appreciation to them. So it was a beautiful day between lots of rainy days, and I was very excited for all the kids to be able to walk or bike or roll to school.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. So first I want to say thank you so much to Mr. Emmett, Superintendent Emmett, for coordinating the expansive, deep list of all of the different training that is done for our neurodiverse community. I found that information to be very helpful and informative, and I do appreciate that. The second thing is, I know we're not supposed to address the public, so I won't, but I will say to my board members, if anyone was to spy with their little eye a young man, perhaps someone at Charles Wright, who would like to take the balloons home this evening, we did intend to give them out to students. So I just wanted to make sure.
This is an important decision.
It really is. It really is. But thank you. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, last Tuesday I had the opportunity to see the Silas Deane Middle School concert, and it was phenomenal. They did a great job, the 7th and 8th grade orchestra and band. There was so many students on the stage. It was great to see it being revived after COVID hitting, and the kids were awesome, and the teachers did a great job. Just wanted to commend them on that.
Great, thank you. Okay, anyone else? I just wanted to make a thank you to our townspeople who came tonight to meet and greet with Mr. Jeffrey Whidbey. Thank you for being here still, too. And also, I get a moment, and it's probably the one of many, to thank Mr. Emmett. How long have we sat here together? Quite a long time. Yeah, it's a long time. So I want to thank you for all your dedication to our beloved Weathersfield school system. Thank you. All right, and Angelica, life at our flagship school, Weathersfield High School.
So as always, we have lots of amazing things happening at the high school. A few weeks ago, actually, our DECA group traveled to Orlando, Florida, the students that placed at the state conference to compete in nationals. We had a medalist, Marcos Velasquez Ramos, for scoring high on one of the exams as part of his category. And then this is also exciting, but me and my partner and best friend, Ava Thompson, were recognized as international finalists in our category, the Community Awareness Project. And it's funny because before the Anxious Generation was mentioned, and our project called New Year, New You was focused on social media safety and digital literacy. And one of the main key components of our project was a social media detox day, where students, around 100 students at the high school, pledged to not use social media for a day. So it was certainly a meaningful project, and we all had so much fun there. It was also Mrs. Riccardi's last trip with the DECA students, as she's retiring this year, so it was really bittersweet. A few weeks ago, too, the junior class of 2026 had their prom. I heard it went great and was really fun. And then we had this past week in the cabaret. They raised, I believe, over $5,000 and counting. We also had the Walk for Val. It's the 3rd annual walk. Valerie Peralt, she was a WHS graduate who unfortunately passed away of cancer. And this walk was created to keep her memory alive, and it was a beautiful day. With lots of amazing people. And then these past few weeks, we've had lots of A/B testing going on for students, so they've been busy with that. We also had some students and part of the choir and band and orchestra program travel to Seattle for a few days. I also heard that went great. And lastly, I believe not this past weekend, but the weekend prior, 2 of our amazing students, Marcos Velasquez Ramos and Catherine and Katie Moran, were recognized as recognized as CIAC Scholar Athletes. Katie is a 2-sport varsity athlete in swim and lacrosse, and Marcos did varsity swim. They're both exceptional students and human beings. And with that, these are my updates at the high school. And thank you, Mr. Emmett, for all that you've done. I remember like when I moved here to Weathersfield Public Schools back in the 5th grade, you were always like smiling and kind, and I'm really grateful for
Emerson
your work.
Williams? Emerson Williams?
Yeah, Emerson
I thought
Williams.
so. I remember it well.
good memory.
Thank you, Angelica. Thank you.
Angelique, I'd also like you, as we get towards the end here and you're getting ready to graduate, you are so involved in that high school. I'd love to hear like, your summing up of all your thoughts as you're leaving high school, because you have been a wonderful participant with us here, too. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we all set on closing comments here? All right, and is there any unfinished business tonight?
Nope, you skipped executive session.
I was going to go right to, you're right. I move that we go into executive session for the discussion and possible appointment of a principal for Charles Wright School.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? All right, so I'm not adjourning this meeting.
You're not.
But I am asking everyone, we have to close